Why do some employees grow when you give them more responsibility, while others shrink under the same opportunity? Why does the exact same leadership opportunity energize one person and destabilize another? Leadership opportunities do not create growth. They reveal where the growth has already started. And growth always starts with responsibility. Without responsibility, there is no real growth. So today, we are going to correct a common mistake in how organizations think about promotion. When responsibility increases, the person is exposed to consequence. Their decisions start to matter beyond their own task, and this forces a shift in how they think, act, and prioritize. If that shift has already happened or started, responsibility accelerates it. If it is not, responsibility creates pressure. This is the mechanism. Leadership opportunities do not create the shift. They amplify what is already there. We understand this principle very early in life. A child receives the house key when they prove they can handle responsibility, not before that. Among friends, someone is trusted with confidential information when they show they can keep it, not because they want status, but because they can carry the consequence. The same pattern exists at work. You are given broader tasks when you show you can own outcomes. You are trusted with someone else's project when you prove you take responsibility beyond your job description. You are invited into decisions when you already behave as if the result matters to you. Growth follows responsibility. Responsibility does not follow growth. This is not motivational language. It is observable behavior. When someone takes responsibility for an outcome, several things change. They think further ahead. They consider the consequences of their decisions. They control themselves more carefully. They move from my task to our result. And research supports this. Studies on work design show that when people feel responsible for meaningful outcomes, their internal motivation increases. And research on motivation also shows that autonomy and competence increase when people believe something depends on them. Psychological ownership research demonstrates that when individuals feel accountable for outcomes, engagement rises. But here is the important distinction. Opportunity alone does not create this shift. Responsibility does. If someone receives a title without truly owning broader consequences, nothing fundamental changes. They gain visibility, not growth. And the paradox is simple. The same opportunity that motivates one person can destabilize another. All growth requires responsibility. But responsibility can expand in different directions. Some people grow in depth. They become more skilled, more precise, more technically sophisticated. They take responsibility for higher quality inside their domain. That is real growth. Other people grow in width. They take responsibility for systems, for processes, for people, for outcomes that depend on many variables. Leadership is width-based growth. And not everyone wants that. Some individuals prefer mastery. They prefer depth. They prefer excellence inside a very defined craft. This is not a weakness. But leadership requires something heavier. It requires comfort with ambiguity. It requires managing tension between people. It requires owning results created by others. It requires thinking beyond own performance. The mistake organizations make is assuming that ambition for status equals readiness for width-based responsibility. It does not. Leadership opportunities motivate only those who are ready to take on more responsibility. Many promotion decisions follow a simple assumption. If we give them the opportunity, they will grow. But growth already begins before the formal opportunity appears. Look inside your organization. Who already takes responsibility informally? Who reduces confusion for others without being asked? Who absorbs tension instead of escalating it? Who speaks about our outcome instead of my task? That is where growth is already happening. Promotion does not create that pattern, it reveals it. Leadership is not more work, it is more consequence. If responsibility capacity is not present, the leadership opportunity creates stress. Then, control behavior increases, avoidance increases, anxiety increases. If responsibility capacity is present, leadership opportunity amplifies growth. The difference is not the title. The difference is the prior assumption of responsibility. Responsibility is not punishment. For the right person, it is energizing. It signals trust, it signals relevance, it signals impact. When someone feels that something important depends on them, motivation shifts. It moves from compliance to ownership. But responsibility must match readiness. Too little responsibility creates boredom. Too much responsibility creates overwhelm. When calibrated, responsibility creates growth. And growth is deeply motivating. Not because of visibility, not because of status, because your identity expands. Leadership responsibility is simply the broadest version of this pattern. There is no growth without responsibility, but not all responsibility is leadership responsibility. Some people grow by going deeper, some grow by going wider. Leadership opportunities motivate when they expand responsibility in a direction that fits the person's capacity and appetite. If they do not, the opportunity becomes exposure, not growth. This is the shift. If this way of thinking is useful, the deeper analysis lives in the newsletter. That's where I examine leadership capacity at structural level. If you want the next breakdown, subscribe to the channel. And if this changes how you see motivation and leadership, share it with someone who leads. Rewire how you lead.